Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has said that political Islam inflicted the greatest blow on Sanatan Dharma. He has argued that while our resistance to British rule is often discussed, the impact of Islamic political expansion on India's history is largely overlooked. Now, he was speaking at an RSS event in Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. He cited Shivaji Maharaj, Maharana Pratap and Guru Gobind Singh as figures who fought against political Islam. He talked about partition being a consequence of it. He also linked the idea to current policies of his government. He also defended the Uttar Pradesh government's ban on halal certified products that he claimed funded conversions and extremist activities. He also accused Samajwadi Party of mocking Hindu traditions like Ayodhya's Deepotsav and disrespecting the Potter community of the state that depends on the diyas. Now, supporters say Yogi Adityanath's remarks reaffirm cultural pride and historical truth, and that ramifications of faith-led separatism cannot be ignored. But critics see this as constant invoking of history. They see this as an attempt to deepen communal divisions and also distract from governance. But the big question is, does invoking history to the lens of politics unite or divide India's democracy? Let's listen in to some reactions.
अंग्रेजों ने इतने वर्षों तक शासन किया, ब्रिटिश उपनिवेश की चर्चा होती है, फ्रांस के उपनिवेश की चर्चा होती है, लेकिन राजनीतिक इस्लाम की कहीं चर्चा नहीं होती। जिसने आस्था पर कुठाराघात किया, यानी ब्रिटिश उपनिवेशवाद के खिलाफ हम लड़े थे, हमारे पूर्वज लड़े थे। फ्रांस के उपनिवेशवाद के खिलाफ हमारे पूर्वज लड़े थे, लेकिन राजनीतिक इस्लाम के खिलाफ भी हमारे पूर्वजों ने लड़ाई लड़ी थी। लेकिन ये राजनीतिक इस्लाम वही है जो छांगुर के रूप में डेमोग्राफी को चेंज करके राष्ट्र माता के टुकड़े टुकड़े करने की मंशा के साथ कार्य कर रहा है। 25,000 करोड़ रुपए देश के अंदर हलाल सर्टिफिकेशन से होता है और भारत सरकार की या राज्य सरकार की किसी भी एजेंसी ने उन्हें मान्यता नहीं दी है। इस सारा का सारा पैसा आतंकवाद के लिए, लव जिहाद के लिए और धर्मांतरण में दुरुपयोग होता है और इसीलिए उत्तर प्रदेश ने इसके खिलाफ बड़ी कार्रवाई प्रारंभ की है कि हलाल सर्टिफिकेशन के नाम पर भारत के उपभोक्ताओं का शोषण करने वालों के खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई होनी ही चाहिए और इस कार्यक्रम को हमें भी सतर्कता पूर्वक देखना चाहिए। कोई सामान खरीदते हैं तो जरूर देखिए कि जीएसटी हमें देना है।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की मूल चरित्र में ही जो है भारत का विरोध है, सनातन का विरोध है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मूल चरित्र में ही सिर्फ और सिर्फ हिंदू मुसलमान करना है। ये लोग अंग्रेजों के उपनिवेश की बात नहीं करेंगे जिन्होंने हमारा पूरा देश लूट लिया। ये लोग फ्रांसीसी उपनिवेश का बात नहीं करेंगे जो सब कुछ हमारे यहाँ से खनिज संपदा ले गए। ये लोग सिर्फ अपनी राजनीति के लिए हिंदू मुसलमान की बात करेंगे। मुगल शासन में अभी योगी जी ने स्वयं कहा था कि मुगल काल में भारत की जीडीपी दुनिया की जीडीपी की 30% थी, 27% थी, और आज योगी जी उस बात से उलट बात कर रहे हैं। तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मूल चरित्र ही जो है सिर्फ हिंदू मुसलमान करना है।
This is a very sensitive topic and we are going to look at this very sensitively. Ghanshyam Tiwari, National Spokesperson, Samajwadi Party, joins us now. We also have Sharad Tiwari, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. We have Amitabh Tiwari, founder Vote Wipe, who's a political strategist and commentator, also joining us. Thank you all of you for being part of this broadcast. Ghanshyam, to you first, how do you look at Yogi Adityanath's comments? Because he seems to at least imply that even someone like a Jinnah or a Syed Ahmad Khan or anyone who has believed in political Islam was a greater enemy for the country. And we have ramifications in terms of partition. But how is the Samajwadi Party preparing to counter this politically, because there could be social consequences to this as well?
Good evening, Vasudha, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. There are three important things. One is that Adityanath ji, when he ran for 2022 elections, he began his campaign with a hate speech of 80-20, which was widely covered. If you look at the headlines that ran when he became the chief minister, that there are serious criminal charges lodged against the new chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. every media channel ran those headlines. Criminal charges related to murder, rioting, hate speech. So here is a man who did not come to power by virtue of constitution, by virtue of common sense, harmony, intelligence, science. He came to power by the strength of his ability to build hate. And he has practiced that. Today, Uttar Pradesh ranks the worst in terms of atrocities in a police station, in terms of fake encounters. It is wrapped every other month by the Supreme Court for violating the spirit of the Constitution. Here is a man who built Hindu Yuva Vahini. So such organizations that became default vigilante that will put pressure on the state to build his propaganda. So clearly he is not going by the Constitution. But is he going by history books? Is he going by logic? And why is he going in this direction? Here's a man who said in 2022 that he's proud to be a person of his caste and is proud to be accused of practicing caste politics of his caste, which is basically saying that he is proud to with the idea that millions of Hindus were denied their basic rights. Jisko Assam Chief Minister spoke about Shudra in his tweet, the core belief that RSS has always had, that Dalits do not have the basic rights that they think the few feudal castes have.
Right.
So he is propagating his
That's a
hate.
very important point. Sharad Tiwari, is Yogi Adityanath trying to propagate a very upper caste version of Sanatan Dharma? Because the 2024 election results did show that a major part of the Hindu community does not get consolidated when you do Hindu-Muslim.
First of all, I'm very proud to say that we do Hindu-Muslim. We don't do Muslim-Muslim and we don't do Hindu-Hindu. That is very clear. The second thing is, I don't know which place in UP or in the whole of the country does this 2080 constitute these concerned religions. I don't. There is no state in UP in India where the Muslims are 20%. So this is the pure fabrication that this constitutes Hindu and Muslim. Here, Yogi Adityanath is saying that we must have an open discussion on the political Islam. How did from places as far away from Morocco to Malaysia got converted in about 300 to 400 years? How come the largest empire in Middle East, that's the Persian Empire, which started from the western shores of India to today's Israel? How did this empire suddenly vanish in 200 years? How did everybody get converted? How did everybody understand the tenets of Islam? Everybody understood Islam and everybody thought that this was a very good religion and we should join it.
Right.
Here we have to understand that how come this Indi Gadbandhan is saying...
One pointed question. I agree that political Islam can be an academic debate. I do believe that, history has to be told in a way that people understand, and everything cannot be about reconciliation. But when he talks about halal certified goods and he says that there's a need to boycott them, there could be actual ramifications on people's lives and livelihoods, isn't it?
No, we have got halal certificate for cement, we have got halal certificate for Saria, we have got halal certificate for clothes. Whose neck is being cut for this halal certificate? 30,000 crore has been extracted from gullible people who don't understand why it is being issued just because they've got a certificate and they pay for it. And this money is being collected and we have traced it down that it is funding the extremist elements in the country. This is what we are concerned about. Okay. We have got halal certificate for furniture. We have got halal certificate for cars or any other equipment. A mixie having a halal certificate. Tea having halal certificate which is being distributed.
Right. Mr. Tiwari, a lot of people would say that is actually vilifying a community. Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, how would you respond to that? The fact that there is an investigation going on. We saw the anti-conversion rackets also being busted. But law and order is one thing. The fact that a community might feel alienated is another thing. How would you respond to that?
Well, Vasudha, two things. The Chief Minister said 25,000 crore has been funneled into terrorism. What is Amit Shah doing? Sleeping at the job? Is he critical of Amit Shah that 25,000 crore from these halal certificate, and the BJP spokesperson said 30,000 crore? BJP counts these thousands of crores very easily. The reason is in the past 13-14 years, they have raised close to 15,000 crores in political donations. So there is no record of this 25,000 crore that easily in this debate went to 30,000 crore, but there is record of this 15,000 crore that BJP received in political donations. As far as such propaganda is concerned, he said 25,000 crore, Adityanath says, and you showed that by 25,000 crore is funneled through halal certificates into terrorism and love jihad. This is absolute propaganda, and anybody who is in a responsible position at the union government level should ask for his resignation, because he is criticizing the government of India.
Okay.
He's not criticizing
Tiwari,
anybody.
what is the socio-political, in fact, electoral, outcome of something like this? Because the 2024 elections, I'm sorry to repeat again, did show a very different picture. So clearly, there is a sense that there is a version of Sanatan Dharma which people understand, but probably doesn't really percolate to masses, the kind of rhetoric that some leaders use. Does it really mean that the BJP, benefits from a rhetoric like this, or is it the other way around?
No, essentially, if you see, I mean, history needs to be told, as you have also mentioned. And we've seen in history books that the atrocities committed by some of the Mughal emperors have not been adequately addressed in the textbooks which we study. Having said that, politicians will speak about politics or elections. And we have an election coming up in UP, which is going to be the semi-final for the 2029 Lok Sabha election. And we've seen that the Hindutva failed to deliver for BJP despite the construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. And this was one of the major reasons why the BJP could not on its own achieve 272 majority mark. So I think the attempt also here electorally or politically is to give a signal to the Hindu community to stay united, because if the voting happens on caste basis, then we've seen that riding on the PDA of Akhilesh Yadav, the India bloc did benefit in 2024 Lok Sabha election. And polarization, we've seen that polarization is a big issue in elections wherever the Muslim population is more than the national average. So be it UP, Bihar, or West Bengal, Kerala, where the population is high, polarization automatically comes into play.
Right. Ghanshyam Tiwari, electoral aspirations aside, batenge to katenge or PDA, the fact that Yogi Adityanath is probably sending out a political message, not just his voter group, but to the larger Hindu community, does that also put you in a sense of dilemma? Because there are demographic anxieties that a lot of people around us do talk about, isn't it? So how is the opposition party going to respond to this? Because like Mr. Sharad Tiwari also said, the fact that some parties in the opposition have been stuck with this thing that they, believe in voter appeasement can also sort of damage you in the future.
Well, there are two versions of Hinduism. One is what the feudal castes want, feudal leaders like Adityanath want. The version that has untouchability. They will invoke a sense of hate and pride that will make you look at another person due to their caste as untouchable, their religion as untouchable. What they eat will make them untouchable. What they wear will make them untouchable. That is the version that BJP, RSS, Adityanath practice and champion. And then the version of PDA, with everybody who belongs to India, belongs to the Hindu civilization, and should come together. And it is for people to decide. When people came to vote in 2024 and BJP said we'll turn the constitution, they realized that they're turning the constitution is about the version of Hinduism, which is about untouchability. And with every such division that Adityanath seeds in our minds, with respect to, like in the Kamar Yatra, they wanted everybody to display their name of the owner on the shop. They want to seed that in your mind, that treats the other person as untouchable. This is not a new thought.
Okay.
They have practiced this for thousands of years.
Does, whatever Yogi Adityanath say, perpetuate a kind of untouchability or caste discrimination that the society should completely get itself rid of?
First of all, who's creating this untouchability? PDA itself means that the upper caste are untouchables and the tribals are untouchables. It is Pichhada, Dalit and Alpsankyak. There are no upper caste and there are no tribals. The second thing is that when STF training center was opened in Lucknow, UP police STF special task force, the country was not divided. The heaven would not break loose. But when it was opened in Deoband, then all hell broke loose. He said कि हिंदुस्तान का जो हमारा जो अल्पसंख्यक जो है वो बर्बाद हो जाएगा, हमारे यहाँ हमारा देश टूट जाएगा. Just because STF training center was opened in Deoband. Who's dividing the country? Who's saying that the first right on resources of the country is with the Muslims? We didn't say it. We never said that Hindus have got the first right on the resources
Ghanshyam
of the
Tiwari,
country.
is the opposition trying to undermine the threat of Islamic radicalism, something that the world is thinking about? How would you respond to that?
Well, the threat of Islamic radicalization or any radicalization can only be countered by a harmonious society. When leaders at the stature of a prime minister, a home minister, the chief minister of the largest state start building propaganda, it will not be countered. It will only increase. As far as untouchability is concerned, Mr. Adityanath, when he became the chief minister, he entered the chief minister's house. What did he do? Just because Akhilesh Yadav ji was the previous chief minister, he ensured that Ganga Jal is used to wash the entire house. When he went to the first Dalit village, what did his administration do? They gave shampoo and soaps to everybody so that they have to wash and be clean in front of this god of upper caste who's coming to visit them just because he's become the chief minister. The model of untouchability that is in the mind of
Yogi Adityanath also believes that this political Islam that really runs its cause, even if there is harmony or disharmony in society. Sharad Tiwari, how would you respond to this particular aspect? He's saying that invoking historical conflicts does not really mean that you will have harmony in society. Telling people, history in a very brazen manner might actually lead to loss of peace, and that may not be good for any society, specifically for UP, which has a diverse population. Mr. Sharad Tiwari.
Well, you see that, first of all, my name is Trivedi, not Tiwari.
Okay.
I would like to say that when a conference was held in the South on complete eradication on Sanatan Dharma, nothing was wrong with it. There was no division. It was complete act of unity in the country. The people would have united under one flag just because there was a complete they had a conference on complete eradication of Sanatan Dharma. But here we are saying, let's have a healthy discussion on political Islam. Now you are trying to divide the country. Now we are trying to divide the people. We are dividing the states. Where does this logic come from? I fail to understand.
Okay, Mr. Amitabh Tiwari, last word to you, sir. There's a larger question of how history needs to be taught or learned, right? Because I am of the opinion that history needs to be taught in a way that, there's more, harmony, but at the same time, truth needs to be told, and it shouldn't create more conflicts. Do you have a way that can actually be far more conciliatory, but also be a part of truth telling?
Well, I think truth needs to be told. However, we also need to see that people occupying very high positions like the CM, the Prime Minister, the governors, etc., need to be cautious enough while making political statements, because they also are representatives of not one particular community, but the entire community. And Vasudha Venugopal is one of the philosophies of the country. Politically, electorally, yes, these could benefit the BJP maybe in the short term, but we have to see that we have to also create a balance between social harmony and these sort of things.
Okay.
So I think people at the top should
Mr.
be
Sharad Trivedi, your last word, your closing remarks.
The trap of imagery of a strong Hindutva leader. Yeah.
Mr. Sharad Trivedi, your closing remarks.
Honorable Chief Minister said that let's have a discussion. He's not condemning it. He's not criticizing it because he wants to live long. We don't want to die tomorrow just because we are criticizing. You can criticize Hinduism, but you cannot have the same right to criticize any other community. We are only saying let's have a political discussion on political Islam. Let's discuss how did we lose half of our country.
Okay, Ghanshyam Tiwari, quickly,
we are having separatist tendencies in all over in various states in the country. We want to have a discussion on it. What is wrong with it? It's democratic.
Okay. Ghanshyam Tiwari, just an academic debate. There are actual consequences to criticizing Islam. Does not happen with Hinduism. An important point that Mr. Trivedi has pointed out.
I'd like to suggest to your viewers that you have to think about the future of your children. I grew up in an India where everyday discussion from the top leadership of the country across party lines was about harmony. And today, everyday discussion from the Prime Minister to Chief Ministers of BJP to the Home Minister is about their propaganda. Now, do you want your children to look at history and fill themselves with hate against the other communities? Or do you want your children to look at history and learn lessons and build harmony for the future of the country? We are entering the age of artificial intelligence, of knowledge. And hate can spoil the advantage, the demographic advantage that India has. And this is what BJP is going towards.
So history with filters or history with disclaimers. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. If politics keeps focusing on religion and identity, it could unite some communities, but also risk dividing people and weakening democracy. But truth often has to be told. The broader question is whether such rhetoric strengthens national identity or risks hardening some of those boundaries that we have amongst us.